Good evening, Gemini. It is November 8th, 2018. This is an astrological report for you using the tarot card about the current energies right now for the sign of Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Ascending, or wherever you hold Gemini in your chart. So let's have a look and let's talk a little bit about the energies right now. We had a new moon in Scorpio yesterday. We had the nodes transiting into Cancer from Leo, I think. And we have the transit of Jupiter to Sagittarius tomorrow, which will bring a lot of good luck to a lot of people, depending on where all the Jupiter action is in your chart. And so let's have a look here for the effects of all that planetary shifting and how that's going to play out for Gemini during this period. And let's get this going here. And these are little quick faith restorative taroscope reads to help everybody stay in alignment during all these transits and changes that are going on in the world and in our lives. And I like how tarot help us gain clarity so that we can align with what's going on and not resist and see the good in it. Now we have one last card here, a death card. I knew that was going to show up. It's been showing up in all these Scorpio reads. Okay, that the death card represents Scorpio in the tarot deck. Now, and that does represent deep transformations of a deep nature that are life transformative. So this is a period in time for Gemini where there will be some form of a major shifting in an understanding or a perception. So let's find out what the cards want to talk about and concerning those transmutations. So we do have this card starting out the read. It is the Four of Cups, which is turning away. I have in my read the cards, when they turn inward, represent alignment. When they turn outwards, represent out of alignment. This card represents, this part of my read represents head-heart alignment. So let's talk about that. The cause of sadness towards, there is knowledge now of an ability to recommit to something that caused sadness. So let's say that again. Something in the life of the Gemini that has been a source of sadness, or maybe perhaps a lacking mentality, or looking or having an emotionally low abundant or an emotionally unhappy experience by having to sort of win in ways that aren't necessarily aligned with the heart of the Gemini, and we're going to expand on that. So there is a newfound ability for the Gemini to be able to commit, because there's an understanding now that the knowledge of acting from the heart enables the Gemini to fully commit and fully jump into an endeavor that is very much something that is truly a source of love for and motivated, divinely motivated. It is because it's divinely motivated that it's love, that the Gemini loves it, and it is supported by the source, by the divine. So the Gemini are very much transmuting a deep propensity or deep habit of turning away from the truth of who the Gemini is, or from what's truly in the heart, in order to sort of build abundance, but in a way that separates the Gemini from an inner alignment with what's true to the heart. And then because now we have the cards turning away, so there's a death to the turning away. So there's a transmutation of there's a transmutation of the fear that causes the Gemini to turn away, if that makes any sense. So there's the Gemini that's turning away to work to create abundance, turning away from their inner truth. That is what is transmuting and dying, enabling the Gemini to fully commit, fully jump into that which is now a new knowledge, found knowledge of what is truly in the heart that will motivate the Gemini. So the Gemini is shifting to fully emotionally committing and taking on a brand new, fresh beginning in an area that they feel very committed and very empowered. And they feel very empowered by this new knowledge that it is divinely supported. It is something that feeds the soul of the Gemini, and that is the motivation, and that the abundance, there's that we get. Let's talk about the Nine of, where are we time-wise? 5. Okay, good. Let's talk about the Nine of Pentacles. And there is the Queen of Cups facing the Nine of Pentacles. So to me, we have an alignment for the Gemini in their heart space, which means they become knowing of the truth of their heart, and that their source of power, because the Magician card is right there in the alignment, comes from alignment, from motivation of what is truly in the heart of the Gemini. And then from that point on, the Gemini is able to then recommit and entirely devote themselves to the procedure in order to... Okay, bye.
The dishwasher's on.
Oh, cool.
Just turn on.
All right, thanks, Karen. Bye. See you. Sorry about that. So in other words, the Gemini is able to emotionally commit to the project now. And that is a new source of power and a new source of excitement and a new alignment that is new for the experience of living for Gemini. So that's what's changing here. So let's have a look. So yeah, so we get, let's see, we've got the Seven of Pentacles turning away, working, efforting to build abundance by turning away. That is the transmutation. That is what is dying. That is no longer something the Gemini are willing to do. Instead, they are turning open-heartedly, realizing that motivating in alignment with the desire of Source, which means their true fate, which means that which is the true desire of the heart, is where power, is where the true source of power, because the Magician card, as you see, is all about that yellow and red. It's all about materializing in the material. And that is the energy of the Hierophant as well, because the Hierophant is the energy that is needed in order to materialize the Magician, which is to really totally commit to the process in order to allow it to descend from the higher realms, if that makes any sense. And so the Magician is a fully empowered manifester materializing abundance. And so that was the needed alignment that needed to happen for the Gemini during this transiting period, which will then enable the Gemini to sort of be ready for a brand new beginning, a brand new fresh start in an exciting, the Fool is, the Divine wants us all to be the Fool, which is to have complete faith and trusting in what we do. And so the Gemini is understanding that their power comes from aligning with what's truly in their heart. And so that's sort of a very fresh new beginning. That's the Ace of Cups. That's the, that's just a brand new start in something that is deeply soul fulfilling. And this is something that the Gemini are finding, shall we say, fulfillment. It's about fulfillment, this read. It's about what is fulfilling. And it it's interesting because we don't have a lot of pentacles in the top part of this read, but that's the gift of seeking a life that's fulfilling, is that you will resonate at the frequency of abundance and joy. The Fool represents joy. So I'm going to pull messages from your animal spirit guide by Stephen Farmer. Okay, and let's have a look at what card comes out from the Animal Spirit Guide deck. Now is the time for deep emotional healing. And that, yep, there's the seagull. Deep emotional healing. And that is very much what the Death card is about, because because we start the readout with the Four of Cups and the Five of Swords, which is the energies of not seeing the full picture, not seeing the abundance, not seeing the gift. And then we get the Ace of Cups landing over here, which is now the Gemini seeing the gift, seeing the divine gift, seeing the truth in motivating from what the divine is handing them, and going with that, and jumping in with that, and opening their heart to that. And that's the shift, is from looking at what is empty and operating. The Gemini is pulling away from operating out of a place of desperation. Desperation is the way I think I have to say that. And so that's what's transmuting. And that causes a deep emotional healing, because it's the cups represent emotional sadness in this card, the Four of Cups. And that emotional sadness comes from a lack of knowledge as to what really empowers the Gemini, and that lack of feeling empowered by the right purpose, by the right reason, by motivating out of inspiration and love of what you do, rather than a desire to work hard for the income and for the finances, is going to be a sort of winning, freeing experience, alleviating the Gemini from having to operate in lesser, higher frequency ways of earning, of creating the income. And the power, and that is empowering the Gemini to be source empowered, which is going to increase their finances and their abundance. So I hope that is clear. Thank you for watching, and feel free to comment, and thank you very much.